Let's turn to Cambodia. Thousands of workers in Southeast Asia are being forced to work in conditions so hot that their lives are being put at risk, according to UK research. The study of brick kiln and garment workers in Cambodia, the first of its kind in the world, highlights the risk climate change will pose to those already struggling in hot countries. Our correspondent Laura Bicker gained rare access to the brick industry for this report. The names of the workers she spoke to have been changed to protect them.
Workers in Cambodia's brick factories are trapped in a never-ending cycle of heat. Production rarely stops. Researchers secretly recorded workers' body temperature. In some cases, it was life-threateningly high.
Heat in here is intense, it is oppressive. The only way I can describe it is like being in an oven. The fire is just behind these bricks and they spend hours at a time. This isn't just about brick kiln workers here in Cambodia. There are hundreds of thousands of people who work in kilns right across Central and Southern Asia, for whom a tiny degree of temperature change can mean the difference between life and death.
It is like working inside a burning prison, and it is so hot. It impacts our internal organs. I have asked the owner to provide us with more fans, but they don't do it because they are afraid of spending on electricity.
Last year was the hottest on record, and researchers fear climate change is placing the most vulnerable in an everyday state of emergency.
The people who are most vulnerable socially, economically, will tend to be the people who are also most vulnerable to climate change. So what we need to do is to consider how climate change impacts people through the lens of labour and inequality, and recognise that labour exploitation is a major factor in the worst impacts of climate change.
But in Cambodia, heat is not the only problem. Father of two, Kosal, scoops up a mix of fabric, plastic and rubber to keep the kiln fires burning. Some factory owners use piles of waste from the garment industry instead of wood to save money. But the fumes are toxic. This is against protocols for major Western brands. We found labels from the Disney store, Clark's and H&M, among others. All promised the BBC that they would investigate. No matter how toxic or hot the kilns become, Chantria can never leave. The owner has paid off her debts. Now she and her children are trapped.
We have a debt with them. If we leave, we are afraid of being arrested and imprisoned. So we must struggle here. If they ask us to enter the fire, we will do it.
The majority of brick workers were farmers, forced to migrate to the city after droughts devastated their crops, driving them into debt. They earn so little that the debt will never be repaid. The kilns of Cambodia have fed the capital's construction boom. But as Phnom Penh reaches towards the sky, it's left behind those who've helped build it. Laura Bicker, BBC News, Cambodia.